What's happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another huge update. Now you guys can probably already tell that it is going down. Just by that title alone, you guys are definitely gonna want to check this one out. So we got that Sanctuary City Mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, now in over his head with legal trouble after continuing his fight against the Trump administration, sending in the troops to clean up his city, guys. And I'm excited to get into this one, so we're not straight into it. All I ask that you guys please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and without further ado, let's hop straight into it, folks. Check this one out.
Let me just begin with Chicago, which is very much in the news. President is getting ready, I guess, to send the National Guard into Chicago, and you can tell us you're going to be a part of this. Your agents, your ICE agents. Chicago believes it's a sanctuary city, but I don't think that's going to stop you with respect to criminals. Can you tell us what's going to happen here, sir?
Look, it hasn't stopped us from day one. I mean, as soon as President Trump took the oath of office, the first place I went was Chicago and ran an operation there. Brandon Judge said I wasn't welcome, and I went there the very next day. And the first day of the operation, I stayed for the first day of the operation, kicked it off. If I remember correctly, we arrested 7 or 9 child sex predators who rape children. We arrested 9 members of Trendagua, a terrorist organization, gangs. We arrested 2 illegal aliens convicted of homicide that walk in the streets. We seized pistols that had what they call a switch in the pistol, which made that pistol fully automatic, that were being sold by Trendagua gang members to other gangs. And that was just one day. We took a lot of public safety threats and national security threats off the streets in one day, which made Chicago safer. Got a lot more work to do. President Trump is committed. We're going to focus on sanctuary cities. That's what we're going to prioritize because we know we have a problem there. So there is going to be, as I said several weeks ago, we're going to flood the zone in sanctuary cities like Chicago, like Los Angeles, like San Francisco, and New York. We're going to flood the zone, and Chicago is one of them. We're going to go there and make Chicago safe again. President Trump committed that to American people, and the men and women of ICE and the Border Patrol will keep his promise.
This is the best issue of all. They are against preventing crime. They are fighting us. I want to go into Chicago, and I have this incompetent governor that doesn't want us. Do you know that this weekend 72 people were shot in Chicago? I'm embarrassed to say it in front of the president of Poland. 11 people were killed. 72 people were shot. Last week, 7 people were killed in Chicago, a place which is probably your #1 place. I hate to say it.
Yeah, I love the balls in Chicago.
And we got to keep it safe. But 7 people were killed. The week before that, 5 people were killed, and 21 people were shot. This is in 3 weeks. So in 3 weeks, I lost almost 35 people were killed. It could have been stopped. If you look at Washington, D.C., 3 weeks ago, it was the same or worse. And now it's considered a totally safe zone.
So we're seeing the messaging has remained the same. The Trump administration staying true to their promises to clean up the streets, rid us of violent crime and these criminal migrants that have been flooding the streets, especially in these sanctuary cities like in Chicago with that Mayor Brandon Johnson. But Johnson is staying true to his message, saying that no help is needed and that his streets are already safe.
Yeah, let me just first acknowledge the level of anxiety and fear and trepidation that this administration has caused. You've never seen a society improve or expand under this type of fear. And we're going to continue to resist, and we're going to do it in many different ways, whether it's taken to the streets or to the courts or policy. One of the things that I am very proud of is that we are a welcoming city, which means our local law enforcement do not dub or behave as federal ICE agents. And so our local law enforcement, as we continue to rebuild and expand trust amongst all of our residents, it's important that we hold that line.
You know, as far as, you know, the president's animus towards women, people of color, working people, we have always known who he has been. And this is not a surprise. He's a monster. Period. We have the most diverse administration in the history of Chicago. and he is threatened by that. You can tell when someone is fearful is because they act out. We have a president that is screaming and having tantrums right now because we have an administration that reflects the city of Chicago, but he would much rather have administrations that reflect the country club.
So that's the side of this whole debacle Brandon Johnson, that sanctuary city mayor of Chicago, is going to take. He's pointing and placing the blame on President Donald Trump and saying that he's a monster and that he's afraid, and that's the reason why he's acting out. But what we're seeing right here, folks, this is projection 101. He's projecting how he is truly feeling and behaving onto President Donald Trump. We've seen the way that he's acted, the things that he said when he got up there saying that he's going to continue his fight against the Trump administration because he believes the streets are clean. The streets of Chicago don't need help, but it's quite the opposite we're seeing. I want to do a little quick flashback to when Mayor Brandon Johnson first got into office. He was crying and saying that he was going to clean up Chicago, that crime was out of control. But now he's saying that it doesn't exist.
You know, the city of Chicago is not the only place in America where violence has spiked, especially over the last couple of years. But as it pertains to the neighborhood that I'm raising my family in, my wife and I, we love Austin. It is still, it's a beautiful place. We love it. And, it is one of the most violent neighborhoods in the entire city. In fact, Chris, I would argue, and I don't think I even have to argue, but, I'm the first mayor in the city of Chicago's history to wake up every single day in one of the most violent neighborhoods in the entire city. And so, this might sound a little, heavy-handed or maybe perhaps a little bit audacious, but I would argue though that no one thinks about public safety more than I do.
So it may be true, Mayor Brandon Johnson lives in one of the roughest neighborhoods in Chicago, but what he fails to mention is his personal 150 police security detail that's assigned to him around the clock, 24/7, protecting he and his family, which regular everyday Chicagoans do not have access to. I want you guys to see what Mayor Brandon Johnson had to say when he's confronted about his 150 personal police security detail.
And your wife, Stacy, be willing to cut your security detail from 150 sworn police officers and put those police officers back on the street where they can protect real Chicagoans?
So we're very proud of the work that we're doing collectively to ensure that our police officers have the resources that they need. As I've said repeatedly, it's policing and affordable housing, is policing and youth employment, is policing and mental and behavioral health care services. It's going to take all of us, the business community, the philanthropic community. We're working collectively with Cook County government, the state of Illinois, the state's attorney as well. The volume of cases that we are pushing towards the state's attorney so that we can continue to close out these cases as we really drill down with our detectives division as they solve crime, as they get the evidence over to the state's attorney, gives her the ability to make the prosecution so that we can continue to deter crime in the city of Chicago. That's a holistic approach that we're taking.
Mayor Brandon Johnson's answer right there tells us everything we need to know about crime in Chicago. It's gotten out of hand to the point where he's not willing to move around without 150 police officers protecting him night and day. It's absolutely nuts. Now we're going to switch gears for a second. I want to look at some more leadership over in that state. We got Governor J.B. Pritzker explaining his side of the story, why the crime rate is so high in Chicago. Unbelievable.
You're going to hear people, especially this past weekend, 54 shot, 7 dead.
Yeah.
They're going to say the city's not safe. Would you ask your friends to ride the L after midnight or after, 9 o'clock at night even to come down to the city from O'Hare?
Look, big cities have crime. There's no doubt about it. But let's just pay attention to what President Trump is doing targeting Chicago. He's overlooking red states that have much higher crime rates.
We know what it's about, and it has nothing to do with fighting crime. And it has, honestly, sending National Guard in has nothing to do with immigration either. What it has to do with is he's trying to set the stage for interference in the elections in 2026 and in 2028.
Governor J.B. Pritzker said the quiet part out loud when he says this is going to interfere with the 2026 and the 2028 elections. Guys, just think for a moment, why would this affect the 2026 and 2028 elections? Maybe because illegals are being sent back to their home countries and they're not allowed to participate. They're not able. They're not in that sanctuary sanctuary city jurisdiction able to vote for these types of leaders anymore. And then he tries to quickly point and place the blame on President Donald Trump, saying there's many other states that have way higher crime rates. He's targeting us. Maybe he's targeting you guys because you're using a lousy excuse like crime is to be expected in big cities. You can't be serious. This is the governor that they elected in to protect and serve their people. But yet he's brushing crime off to say it's a big city. There's going to be crime. We got JD Vance hitting the nail right on the head where he says this wouldn't happen if folks would stand up and do their jobs.
The president has a very simple proposal to everybody in every city, every community, every town, whether big or small. If you enforce your own laws and if you protect federal law enforcement, we're not going to send in the National Guard because it's unnecessary. But if you let violent rioters burn great American cities to the ground, then of course we're going to send federal law enforcement in to protect the people the president was elected to protect.
Messaging like this right here gets me so fired up for the Trump administration. Nothing but a bunch of straight shooters in his cabinet. That was Vice President JD Vance laying it on thick on Democratic leadership, saying none of this would be called for or happening if you folks listen to the people, listen to the residents of your states and your cities when they're crying out for help. They're crying out for help, but you guys constantly ignore them. And you don't have to take my word for it. Listen to the residents. Listen to what they're saying.
I would like to discuss something that my family has been dealing with for the last 2 weeks. My stepmother, Kathleen Miles, was brutally attacked downtown Chicago in the Loop at 5:15 approximately p.m. On August 19th. Our world's changed. She was walking along the side of a colleague, like she's done for the past 20 years that she's worked downtown. And unfortunately, she was brutally attacked by a man named William Livingston. He has done this several times, including a 15-year-old female. He has done little to no jail time. And it's countless charges, and this man just continues to be let out.
Come on, you guys. The lack of leadership, cashless bail. These criminals are never held accountable for their actions. We need to see justice for Kathy. I mean, look at how families' lives are being affected by the influx in crime in Chicago. These sanctuary city policies, things have to change. And on that note, we're going to flip to President Donald Trump. What he had to say early Saturday morning. President Donald Trump taking a Truth Social in an absolute bombshell, a nuke of a post. Look at this right here. He says, I love the smell of deportations in the morning. Chicago's about to find out why it's called the Department of War. Oh my goodness. Holy base. President Donald Trump is not messing around. Chicago is quickly finding out. And then moments after that was posted by President Donald Trump, we start getting firsthand coverage from residents of Chicago saying, federal agents have now been spotted in Chicago. Earlier this morning, it's about to get real. Check this out.
What is going on? What is going on, baby? They is out here. What's the ice? Oh, I'm not. It sure lives. What, he ice? He ain't ice. All right then. Yeah.
This is what we voted for. Oh my goodness. Talk about true leadership. I'm telling you right now, this is what I voted for personally. I know a lot of you out there are saying the same exact thing, but wait guys, it gets better. We got other residents posting out saying that ICE was now spotted on 71st and Rockwell in Chicago, enforcing laws that Democrats pretend don't exist. I voted for this. I'm glad I'm not alone. And as we can see, ICE agents on the street. Come on now. This is what we need. A full reform, a cleanup. If Democratic leadership wants to stand by and allow this to happen, we have to have federal enforcement. Federal troops should be deployed. ICE should flood the zone. Border Czar Tom Homan has been saying this from the very beginning. If you want to have these sanctuary cities, you're just going to make it even worse for your people, because we're going to then flood the zone with ICE agents. Well, we already know that sanctuary city mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, is going to fight Trump's efforts every step of the way. I mean, I knew Democratic leadership was bad, but this one right here broke my scale.
I guess the forecast in Chicago calls for snow. That's an awful lot of salt trucks. That's an awful lot of. I don't see this many salt trucks when it fucking snows.
It's being reported that Brandon Johnson put those salt trucks there to block ice from coming into the city. Mind you, in the middle of winter in Chicago, the roads don't even get taken care of. Like the lady said, we don't even ever see that many salt trucks. They always say, oh, we're low on funding. We don't have enough salt. Yet you have enough funding to get all of those employees to sit in those parked salt trucks in order to impede federal investigations. Oh, and that's not all. Did you see this too?
Chicago's building a wall. Actually, lots of little walls. Pritzker's putting up fences around courthouses and City Hall. Why? To stop Trump from sending the Guard and ICE in. Pritzker didn't want a wall to protect the country, or to protect the country from illegals. He's putting up a wall to protect the illegals and criminals from Trump.
So let me get this straight. You had funding for all of these things, yet you can't take care of the people of your city.
I told you guys it was bad. I didn't know it was this bad. Mayor Brandon Johnson, that sanctuary city mayor, has completely lost his mind. And is that not crossing the line of impeding or obstructing a federal arrest or federal authorities? This guy needs to be facing some charges ASAP. There is no way that we can continue to let this slide. And we already know, in typical Democratic fashion, we've seen more Soros-funded protests breaking out in this city immediately after ICE and federal agents, federal troops were deployed into the city of Chicago. Okay, nobody is illegal. And I'm just trying to look at the demographic. You know, it really is very telling when Soros funds these protests. Usually all have the same signs. You see they have very similar signs that they've been given, and they're getting paid to come out, paid in bus to come out and protest, when no one in the city of Chicago is actually protesting this. They've actually been calling, begging for the troops to come in, for President Donald Trump to do something, because their leadership continue to ignore them. And I love to deliver the bad news here when we see the anti-ICE protesters quickly had their bubbles bursted by counter-patriots protesting, showing up with MAGA hats saying, "Thank you, ICE." Wow. They're so triggered. Come on now, this is freaking awesome right here. Look how triggered they were. They're always waving everything but the American flag, but won't go home to those countries. I really just do not understand it. And you already know this became a trend. We're seeing America First patriots coming out and protesting the anti-ICE protesters, drowning them out actually with God bless ICE chants.
Yes, ICE! God bless ICE!
Oh my goodness, guys. This is just too good, though. You gotta love America First patriots. We're not gonna sit idly by and let these folks continue to make a mockery of our country, especially when it comes to, you know, local neighborhoods that we're residing in. And they're taking the fight to these protests, and most of them are Soros funded. We can't forget that President Donald Trump is looking into that as well. These folks have to be stopped. And of course, this has the internet in a full frenzy. Finally seeing federal troops being deployed to Chicago on top of the flooding of ICE agents in their city. We got folks weighing in. We're going to check out a couple of folks, what they've said. We got Gunther Eagleman here saying what kind of people protest lower crime rates. It's folks that don't care about our country, is the way I feel about it. You guys hop in the comment section, let me know how you're feeling. But that's just how I feel. If you're protesting crime rates, or crime being attacked, or a crime being addressed and handled in cities, well, what are you here for? Why are you here to continue to try to add to the crime rate? Go home. I mean, you're waving that flag around. Go back to that country that you know and love, because you clearly don't love ours. Then we got Gunther Eagleman here again. He's just making some really great points, saying it's not red versus blue anymore. It's good versus evil, and the left is evil. Clearly showing themselves. They're showing their hand, their true colors, and we're seeing that where Governor J.B. Pritzker said the quiet part out loud, saying that this can't happen. President Donald Trump can't send the troops. He can't flood the zone with ice agents because he's basically interfering with the 2026 and 2028 elections by deporting all my voters. Like, come on, man. They saying the quiet part out loud. The left is truly evil in nature now. I mean, look at the things that they're saying about Trump, the very dangerous rhetoric. They're doing that on purpose. It's very evil in their nature. We got American Papa Bear here also chiming in saying, did you know that if Trump fixes the crime problem in Chicago, the city would lose $800 million of federal funds for crime prevention? You don't say. Kind of makes you wonder how much of that Johnson and Pritzker are lining their pockets with. I mean, let's be honest. There's a reason why they do not want or keep turning a blind eye to the crime, the illegal problem that they're having in the city of Chicago, the state of Illinois. And it's probably because they're lining their pockets. Their piggy bank keeps continuing to grow. They got an infinite pocket or an infinite purse coming from the taxpayers' dime, coming from federal funding, and they're using it to so-called address crime prevention. But let's be real with ourselves. They're paying their friends, and then their friends are paying them back. We're not dumb. And finally, we'll end this one off with a good note. This is the great Leo Terrell here saying President Trump is the greatest president in my lifetime. I mean, just look at the great works that he's got done. Look at what he's done over in DC. Look at the way the inflation has been down. Look at the border security, guys. Look at grocery prices continuing to come down, dropping in prices. Look at us returning back to being respected and feared on that world stage. Like, you can't tell me this guy hasn't done great things for our country. I mean, I think it's safe to say that he may be the greatest president I've seen in my 26 years of life. Yo, there we have it, guys. Oh my goodness, finally seeing the troops. ICE touching down, flooding the zone in the city of Chicago. I know the residents there are very happy. Their cries have finally been heard by someone since Governor J.B. Pritzker, that Mayor Brandon Johnson, continue to turn a blind eye and say that they're crying about nothing. These problems do not exist and they're all made up, and they keep perpetuating and pushing those false narratives even throughout the legacy media outlets. Glad to see President Donald Trump hearing through that, or seeing straight through the charade that was Mayor Brandon Johnson and Governor J.B. Pritzker, and actually doing something, standing up. That's true leadership that we're seeing on display right here. The Trump administration just keeps on winning. These loonies on the left, they are digging a very deep ditch. This is going to be hard to come back from, guys, but definitely hop in that comment section. Comments are open. I'm excited to hear what you guys are thinking on this one, so definitely hop in there, drop your thoughts. Also, make sure you guys please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you didn't enjoy more content like this, catch you guys on the next one.